there, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump into a concept that's pretty much everywhere you look, data. I mean, it shapes your social media feed, it's behind how your favorite companies work, but what is it, really? Let's get into it.
So to get started, let's think about this. Your grades from school, your go-to pizza topping, all those posts you've liked online, on the surface they seem totally random, right? But believe it or not, they're all connected by one single powerful idea.
And the answer is, they're all data. At its heart, data is just raw information. We're talking facts, figures, little details. On their own, a single piece of data doesn't mean a whole lot. But when you start to gather them up and look at them together, that's when they start to tell some really powerful stories.
Okay, so we've got all these raw facts floating around. Why should you care? Well, because understanding data is kind of like having a superpower in today's world. Let me show you what I mean.
Data helps us stop guessing and start knowing. Businesses use it to figure out what customers actually want, and strategists use it to make smart plans. A really cool example is how banks catch fraud. They analyze transaction data, the numbers, the locations, the times, to spot weird patterns that could mean your account is at risk. It's all about keeping you safe.
Now, here's the thing. Not all data is created equal. To really get a handle on it, we need to split it into two main families. And trust me, understanding this split is the foundation for everything else. On one side, we have qualitative data. The easiest way to remember this is to think quality. It's descriptive. It tells you what something is like. Is the car red or blue? Does the ice cream taste like chocolate? On the other side, we've got quantitative data. Think quantity. This is all about numbers, stuff you can count or measure, like how many cars are parked outside or how much that ice cream costs. All right, let's dive into that first family, qualitative data. This is the stuff that adds color and context to our world. It's all about the descriptions.
So inside the qualitative family, we've got nominal data. The key thing here is the name. Nominal is for names or labels. We're just putting things into categories, and this is important, there's no real order to them.
For instance, think about blood types. A, B, AB, O. One isn't higher or better than another, right? They're just different buckets to put people in. Same goes for marital status or gender. They're just labels for grouping things.
Okay, but what happens when the categories do have a specific, meaningful order? Well, that brings us to our next type of qualitative data, ordinal. You can hear the word order right in there. The ranking is what matters.
You've definitely seen this before. Think about a customer satisfaction survey. Satisfied is clearly a step up from neutral, which is better than dissatisfied. There's a logical sequence there. Same thing with education levels. There's a clear progression. That's ordinal data in a nutshell.
Okay, so we've got the descriptive what covered. Now let's jump over to the measurable, how much. It's time to talk about the world of numbers, counts, and measurements, quantitative data.
First up in the quantitative family is discrete data. Discrete basically means separate. This is data you can literally count, and it always comes in whole numbers. You can't have half of a discrete data point.
For example, the number of students in a classroom. You can have 22 students, you can have 23 students, but you can't have 22 and a half students. It just doesn't work that way. It's always a solid whole number.
So what about when you can have fractions and decimals and all those little bits in between? Well, that's where our final type of data comes in, continuous data. This stuff can be any value within a range. You measure it, you don't count it.
Height is the perfect example. Someone isn't just 175 or 176 centimeters tall. They could be 175.5 or 175.52 or anything in between. Temperature and weight are other great examples. The values can fall anywhere on a smooth, continuous spectrum.
Whew, okay. We've covered a ton of ground, from the very idea of data to its 4 fundamental types. So let's pull it all together and do a super quick recap to lock in your new data toolkit.
Think of this as your go-to cheat sheet. We've got our two main families, qualitative, which describes the quality of things, and quantitative, which measures the quantity. And under each, we have 2 subtypes. For qualitative, it's nominal, categories with no order, and ordinal, categories with an order. For quantitative, it's discrete, those countable whole numbers, and continuous, the measurable values that can be decimals.
And look, if you ever get stuck,
Just come back to this. This is the simplest trick in the book. Qualitative describes the quality of something, quantitative measures the quantity. It's a little mental shortcut that will always get you back on the right track. So, with all this fresh in your mind, I'll leave you with a little challenge. As you go about the rest of your day, just look around. That price on your coffee, the color of the cars driving by, the star rating on that movie you want to watch. What kind of data is it? Once you start looking at the world this way, you'll realize it's absolutely everywhere, just waiting to tell its story.